Good morning, Studio 2. I would like to introduce you to the fantastic Chris, who's an academic and an artist here at Reading University. He's here to help us today to kind of umbrella the kind of ins and outs of documentation. Chris will also give the lunchtime seminar about the broader view of how it is that artists document their work. I think it's not only important in terms of your exam, in that you have to have a documentation. That can be a PDF, a WordPress document, which you have learned previously, and or cargo. So those are the options in terms. Chris is going to do an umbrella rejuvenation of that because quite a few of you have done WordPress last year. But those are the options in terms of your summative assessment. Chris, again, as I said, at lunchtime will be doing a documentation seminar about the broader view of how it is that we as artists use documentation, whether that's your own website, making applications for funding, showing other gallerists what you could probably do in the space. There's quite a lot of diverse possibilities of these skill base. So they're really key to your career as an artist. So obviously you will have done some in WordPress last year, but we're moving on to cargo. If that doesn't suit you, that's not a problem. Remember the options. You can use a PDF, you can use WordPress or cargo. So Chris, I'm going to leave you with Chris. Chris is going to record this session so it can be used for those who cannot make it today. I don't think any of you are in shot, but please, I invite you to ask questions. It's really important. That helps you, but also helps Chris understand your knowledge base. Does anybody have any questions on that? Fantastic, thank you. Chris, the fantastic Chris will hold this session. I better go and be quiet somewhere now, okay? Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Tina. Hi, everybody. I think I'm gonna kind of structure this workshop in like half. So first half an hour or so, I'll just kind of like introduce you a little bit to kind of different artist websites and how artists kind of use the web to kind of document their work, to present their practice. And maybe another half an hour, we can sort of help each other like individually to set up your template on cargo. Just get things started, and then you can start exploring on your own. I think I'm just gonna start showing. I mean, I'll be kind of showing a bit more during the lunchtime talk. So there's so many ways to present your work on the website. On the world of the internet, like there's no one way or the right way. Some artists don't have a website. Some artists list their work and their resume with their galleries, and it just depends on how you want to present yourself and kind of where you are with your practice. So this website kind of takes on a more kind of traditional kind of blog approach. It's got this kind of like retro aesthetics to it. I think the artist actually uses WordPress, and she kind of divides the site in like three, kind of like vertical columns. On the left, there's all of the projects and key exhibitions that she wanted to kind of highlight. In the middle, there's sort of more news or like links that people can click into to get more information on specific kind of works and projects and exhibitions that she's done. On the right, just like kind of like an addition to the practice, which is kind of writing that she's done, where people has written about her practice, like press, publications. This is, I think this is a good sort of example. Like it's not trying to be kind of flashy or like flamboyant. Like it gives you what you need, and it's really sort of it's really legible. Like she uses like red color to kind of highlight the key exhibitions and news and project that she wants people to kind of click into. And if you scroll down, it just gives sort of everything that she's ever done up until like 2018, and I think as a curator or or like employer or like, I think when somebody is looking to understand an artist who they've never met and to understand their practice, it's always good to kind of show them kind of everything you've done, but selectively. Like, you don't have to show work that you don't like or that you don't really believe in. The works that you believe in, it's nice to kind of show the progression, even though the earlier works are not, I don't know, like mature, whatever. It's always nice to kind of show. I feel like how your practice kind of evolved from the beginning to the current day. What I like about this website is it's so simple. It is just, it's very legible. It's got like really big kind of big fonts. This is the artist's name, and images that when you click into it, it actually doesn't give you, I don't know, like another site. It gives you like, it links you to a Tumblr, which he uses to document like exhibitions that he's done, and sometimes kind of, I don't even have Tumblr, so I can't even scroll down anymore. But things to watch, again, depending on your practice. Some artists have a lot of kind of videos, kind of documentation in their work. Maybe they've done interviews, whatever, but some people don't. Like, I've met some artists who don't do any interviews at all, so these might not be relevant. Things to listen if you make sound and music, like storytelling. It's always nice to, I don't know, have something that's not like so image based. I think nowadays people preach that more and more. Things to read, again, like text that like he's written, or where other people have written about his work. So this is really a very complex website. I think I always think it's good to start with kind of the basics. Starting with your name, your key projects, your information, and just list it really clearly. You can obviously do it in this way, but I think when you do it in this sort of really kind of complex, overwhelming way, there needs to be like a method to the madness. What the artist has done is she has basically treated the website as like a living archive, where she listed everything, all the project exhibitions, small to big, like anything that she's ever done, with the name of the exhibition, the project, the venue, the exact dates, and with every single project, she kind of uploaded kind of everything, JPEGs, and then she kind of divided all this different information into like JPEGs, text, like like divided information by the format of the file, which which is like interesting. It's quite straightforward, and once you can just easily kind of locate like images, like exhibition documentations, without having to sort of click into it. And I think the key thing with any sort of website or web documentation is that, or any documentation in general, like PDF, WordPress, have amazing photos. Unless there's a reason, unless your work, intentionally is trying to evoke some kind of aesthetics that's not supposed to look very refined. I think if you just show a painting or sculpture or on its own in a white space, if that's sort of the basic setup of the work, it needs to look like amazing. Like I'll also show you like little tricks about how to edit your photo in Photoshop during the launch talk thing, but and be very kind of selective. I think have a lot of documentation. You can start taking, I don't know, like 100 photos or something over like 10 works, or like 10 photos over like one single work, and you can shoot from multiple angles, kind of straight on. I think it's always good to have something that like for instance, starting with this something, a piece of kind of sculpture, and have this sort of straight on sort of against a white background, and just kind of photograph that really kind of meticulously, like make sure that everything is like kind of straight in the picture, and the background and everything sort of, the background is white and then the work pops out. It's always good to start with the basics, with with sculpture, painting, with videos as well. See again, like if you want to highlight something like a more installation based work, and then kind of start kind of moving like around, start kind of taking different angles of the work, and to start kind of something, you can kind of zoom in a little bit to show the materiality of the work, but then you can always kind of zoom out a little bit to show the scale, how big your work is, in relation to the space. And I think people always love to see what the space you're showing, because I feel like a lot of times we show in white spaces, so they're quite generic. So it's really good to see, if you're showing a painting or a piece of sculpture, where you're positioning in the white space, and how big is the white space. But oftentimes we don't get to show in white spaces. We show works in our homes, or like warehouses, or or locations in a church, with like locations that we that's just simply free for us to use. So I think that's really interesting for me when I see a work that's not shown in a church or in like another like unconventional venue. Like I got really excited, and I think when that happens, it's really good to show the context, the sort of this unconventional venue that you're showing the work. Do you have any questions? Feel free to kind of jump in and interrupt me if you want. Yeah. 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 See, again, this like with like frameworks, it's really good to start with like very simple kind of like straight on shots, and when you sometimes when you set up the camera, like the photos that came out that might not look sort of exactly what you wanted, like things might not align perfectly, but you can always do that later in like Photoshop, and to make sure that everything sort of aligns really nicely. Have you done much documentation, like photographing your own work last year? Yeah. Okay. Hope I'm not like repeating things already. No. Yeah. Installation. Trying to find and this is another kind of site where this artist just she doesn't have anything, but she just has like a video kind of documentation of her exhibition. And one of her exhibitions that's this happened in like last year, so she just has this video in the center of the website, and then in the background this video appears again. So I think it's always interesting to do something a bit different, but when you do that, I think you have to have a reason, like if it aligns with your practice, or if there's something that you want to highlight at the moment, and if you just want to highlight like one ongoing project on the website to kind of catch people's attention, so people want to kind of know a bit more about you, that's fine. But for me, I always think it's like good to start with something that's like simple, that you can just have everything sort of clearly labeled and easy to navigate, and people can just go into these things and look for information that they needed. So have you all got a chance to kind of look a little bit on Cargo, like register? That's okay. So where you register is kind of here, like start, right next to login. And like obviously I've already like kind of like have it registered, but you can just put in, you know, your Reading University email and the password of your chosen one, and then just click on OK and then to register. And so I'm just gonna log in to show. So what's kind of nice about Cargo is that you can make like multiple like sites, like test sites. Like I've made, you know, quite a few. I've deleted quite a few, and once you find something that you like, you can then launch it to make it public for people to see. And all the other sites you can test different templates. You can you know do whatever. And I'm just gonna show you how to kind of create a new site. Yeah. So here, new site, templates. There's so many, you know, different templates out there on Cargo. You can, you know, pick whatever. I'm just gonna show you something that's sort of easy to kind of navigate, or like kind of easy to look at for the moment. So you click on it, and you just like, yeah, click on use this template. And then you can click on edit. So the thing with Cargo is that it's very sort of user friendly in the sense you can literally just click. So if you want to edit, like, you know, edit this like top on the top left corner, this like yellow button, and then you can just like write things, you know, and so it's almost like the web version of kind of like Word or like InDesign. You can like, or PowerPoint. It's very sort of kind of intuitive in that sense. And I'm just gonna show you quickly how to first thing, how to create the, you know, the tabs that you might need for your assessment, like for semester 1. I think if you know how to do that, you can do that for semester 2. So for semester 1, I think you'll need formative documentation and formative statement. I'm just gonna do, maybe should do one. See, like now, like the template has like 2 columns. You see like that thing. But you can fix that. But so here is the columns. If I just like click on minus, oh, it's gone. Have to start again. But that's okay. Yeah, and then so here on the top, sort of the top tab, there's some functions where you can adjust like the text, like the fonts. So I'm gonna center it, and then yeah. So here I can change the font. There's some default kind of sizes that you can go into. Heading 1, 2, like caption. It's like kind of this gray colored one, and this one. I'm just gonna stay with this one. Again, if I want to edit, you know, this row, I just click on the yellow button over here. And so you just need 2, again, you need like 2 tabs, so I'll just minus the column again. So then it's like 2. No, just basically finished. actually, sorry, before I do that, I want to just check. So up here, there's the link button. So you can check where in the template these tags have been linked, which page have been linked. So this one, it hasn't really gotten like anything. Like I'm just gonna quickly maybe link it to index. And then in here, I'm gonna change index to formative documentation. So then again, when I change it back, so this is already linked to, actually I'm going to link it to formative assessment, and then I'm going to just change that. I think that's a bit, that's the tricky bit, that in this templates, they have sort of these things that you need to kind of link. Does that make sense? Like you can, so how you can check is that you can click on the text and then check this link button and then see on top where it's already linked to the page. So before it was linked under like index, and in order to make sure that it's linked to the same page, I then have to go into this button, the right corner, and then so these are all the pages I have. So these was indexed before, and then I had to change the name from index to formative documentation. So then 1, 2, 3. So this is something that, yeah, it might take a bit like test, like try and error. Like try to link your text to the right page, but because you're working with a template, so that you'll have to change the name of the existing text in the template and then make them consistent. I know this is something, yeah, it can be a bit tricky, but I think it's just something you have to kind of dig in and try it out, and tutorials super helpful. Yeah, same thing with this. So this is already called like information. I'm just gonna change it to formative statement, and then here statement, and then here now I have formative statement in my page. So yeah, so I can then change it to formative statement. And now I will go to formative documentation. So I think you've done like kind of documentation like on WordPress last year, right? So yeah, so like you have to, yeah, like you have to document some images and write about it or something. Yeah, so I'll just show you quickly how to upload images, cargo. So this little button, like with like a mountain and the sun on top, like image and some file. So you click on that, and this is like where you upload like your. So cargo, like for each template, comes with a library. You have to upload images into this library first, and then you can drag things from the library to the site. I'm just gonna try this like random image. And it's uploaded. I drag it, it's too big. Because what happens when you drag something that you upload externally, that it doesn't follow, these sort of pre-designed tiled images, and which is cool. Like you can have like a, you can have like a main image, like a header or something, and then you can upload like other like images too. Like for instance, if I want to upload this one, yeah, and it's the same. So there's like a library that comes with even this one little like image, and upload this one. then I just drag it again. So, and then you can just write. Yeah, project 1 is pretty good. Yeah, or like whatever. Yeah, I don't want to sort of overwhelm you with too much, with like things like there are all these different kind of functions on top. I don't want to like you can do like I don't know like weird things, but I don't think you can explore. It gets really fun and it's really kind of intuitive. You can just like drag these things and then it's bouncing or it's not bouncing. It's very. I don't want to like be too sort of. I think it's just good to kind of start with something simple and then start kind of building on it. Yeah. Should we have a go? Like try and register and set it up. I think it's just easier once I'm here, because then I'll be gone and back to teaching Studio 1.
Okay, so the one thing I'm doing now